Malc and the Fat Kid are back, barely standing. But we are here, and it is our second to last show. It is Japanese monster movie night. And Fat Kid, I think we'll agree. I think we saw a great example of what to do in a Japanese monster movie and what not to do.
Actually, we saw a great what to do and an almost great not to do. If we wanted to go with not to do, we would have watched the American version of Godzilla.
Fair enough. Let's see which one to tackle first. We'll just go in order.
I'll go with the worst one because not a lot of people know about Gamera.
Full of meat. He is made of turtle meat.
It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle skyscraper version with less action and adventure on his part.
Yes, for those of you who don't know what it is, imagine a turtle with big freaking teeth who has the ability to suddenly pull in his arms and legs, turn into a rocket and spin in the air, and that's how he flies. Or
he puts his front legs out and uses the flippers as like wings and flies around like that.
That is the dumbest thing I saw. I saw a few new things with Gamera that I didn't know before. The first one was that. Next was apparently he's the Guyver and can pull out his chest and shoot out a camera. Oh my god!
And he's got like a breath weapon, just like Godzilla, but his is just like a fireball.
Yeah.
It's like Ryu and Ken throwing a Hadouken versus like Goku's Kamehameha. Mm-hmm. It's like Godzilla would just toast Gamera. Not to mention we watched Gamera versus Legion, which Gamera like gets decimated in every fight.
Oh no! This is not an impressive outing for Gamera. First of all, that's one of the problems, and the second problem, and this is one of the many instances of differences between Gamera and Godzilla. But the monster suits in Gamera, while some of them, especially King Legion or whatever, the big Legion as they call him, those looked actually pretty interesting. However, as interesting as they are, don't have too much mobility. So the most you can do is. That was the fight. you have to depend on CG in order to do anything interesting.
It's like if you look at like football players seeing football season, practice and stuff. It's like one of them is the dummy thing, and the other one's just ramming into it trying to push it over, and that's like the hand-to-hand fighting. You know, people always laugh about Godzilla, but it's like pro wrestling monster-wise. There's fights, there's movement and stuff like this. Gamera has none of that.
Yeah. And when we make a joke that it's a turtle, it's pretty much it is a turtle fighting. It's like he's got this for mobility. It doesn't work. So that was one issue, and the other one was pacing. We'll go into Godzilla Final Wars on how well they did with it, but I know you can tell a good story, but that doesn't mean you should with a monster movie, because they try here, and it's just
like what? 30 minutes in before you see anything.
Yes. I actually did keep track of that. It's 30 minutes non-stop talking.
And which is it's okay if you're trying to get a huge build-up, but it's Gamera. Okay, it's not like it's brand new. It's not like it's been out like just recently. This thing's been out for a while, and so you don't need to build up Gamera. Everybody knows who Gamera is, who fell into the Gamera situation. It's like watching Godzilla, you know. We love Godzilla movies, but we don't want to wait a half hour to see Godzilla appear. Mm-hmm. If we're waiting a half hour to see Godzilla appear, we're ready to get the hell out.
Indeed. And what makes it worse is, with the storylines of these monster movies, it's usually like military or scientists talking about stuff, which makes me interested. But I fell asleep several times in this movie.
You know, and the worst part is... the weapons in this, you know, in Godzilla they have like laser guns and updated equipment and stuff like this. And in this movie, they have rockets. Mm-hmm. And that's it. I don't know about you, but like, if this is a monster coming, are you going to use your air attack first or your ground forces? I don't know about you, but I'm pretty much going to go with my air force first. No, let's go with the ground forces first. If they fail, then we'll send in the air force. Really? You're going to go that way?
You take all this stuff and it leads to a very boring movie because you have very boring exposition with the human characters. Then you get to the monster, which is the part you should be interested in. But as we just mentioned, the slow mobility makes it so it's pretty much just like Hadouken, 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 and like back and forth. Or it's just watching Gamera flail around in pain being covered by these Legion characters. And then you get another half hour of exposition. You know, it was a chore to make it through this movie. Oh.
You know, and it was just... The weight and the build-up was just horrible. So bad. It's like going to see Friday the 13th, seeing as though that was last week. And not having Jason come up until like halfway through the movie. And that's the first death scene.
Indeed.
So, it's like you're watching a camp movie. It's like... Okay. Somebody gonna die soon? Is the body count at least gonna be one in this movie? Nobody wants to wait around to see what they come to see. You know, and this movie did that, and it's a bad mistake on any part. Even the fight scenes are just boring.
Yeah, I mean, it's like... the fight scenes are boring. I didn't care about any of the characters. I didn't.
And there's only like 3 characters they try to build up on besides Gamera. And you just like, oh, there's a girl that can talk to Gamera. You see her for like the last 10 minutes of the movie. She does some stupid stuff and like, here's nothing. All right, Godzilla movies. Godzilla might die, get his butt kicked, and then miraculously come back. But he doesn't get his butt whooped when he comes back. He whoops butt. In this movie, Gamera gets his butt whooped, almost dies, leaves, comes back, gets his butt whooped and dies, comes back, gets his butt whooped again. And if it wasn't for the military forces distracting the monster, he would have been dead.
Yeah. And that's another difference between Gamera and Godzilla. Well, make no bones about it. In the Godzilla movies, they acknowledge Godzilla for what he is. He is a danger. He is a threat. He could kill things, and they treat him as such. No matter if he happens to be attacking the monster that's a greater threat than he is. With the Gamera, however, that he's pretty much kids love him. Like literally, there's like one scene where...
You know when I saw him, actually, when you see how you're saying that, it reminds me of Godzilla's son in the Godzilla movies.
I mean, yeah.
like you see him and you're like, you're cute. Giant monster coming! Quick, call Gamera! No, that's like, it's like getting a Rottweiler all riled up, you know? And not like just Rottweilers in general are like this. I'm talking like, you know, the people who don't take care of their dogs. You know, you get this thing riled up, and it's ready to attack, and you throw a stuffed animal at it. Gamera, get him! Ha! What?
I could definitely see that. I mean, if you got rid of the tusks, he would be completely cute.
You know, and it doesn't work as like a force to be reckoned with either.
Yeah, it's like he appears on the scene, and it's like,
he's on the scene. Almost dead. He'll leave.
Oh, another thing that was irritating me throughout the movie, Gamera's roar.
Oh my god.
It sounded like someone watched the 1980s movie of Gamera, recorded that recording, and then used that for the voice. It was frustrating.
You know, yeah. It also kind of reminded me of a Godzilla movie, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, where Titanosaurus.
Yes.
Titanosaurus has this really ridiculous scream, and every time I heard Gamera do it, it popped in my head, and I'm like, oh my god, I really hate this. Alright, so we both didn't care for the Gamera.
No.
You know, it's not, if you're gonna see a monster movie, Godzilla is the way to go.
Indeed, and I'm not saying there isn't some boring Godzilla stories out there.
Godzilla vs. Smog Monster.
Yeah. Well, that at least was campy.
Yeah, but that was basically a PSA. But anyways,
fair enough. But
when we say Godzilla movies, we do not include the American version with Matthew Broderick. Just to let you all know.
No, but funny story on the American Godzilla movie. But as far as that, we watched Godzilla Final Wars, which is where I think they've really perfected the whole story. They realize, okay, they made an honest to God attempt to make it so that you'd be just as interested in the movie as you are waiting for Godzilla to do something. And I'd have to say, it works. Like, they basically turned Godzilla Imagine that into a huge action film with lots
So
of.
you saying Godzilla might be the next Expendables?
I would pay for Expendables versus Godzilla. You're welcome, Stallone. But but yeah, I mean, in between Godzilla appearances, which by the way, Godzilla is crammed all throughout. It's a veritable tour de force of Godzilla.
It's pretty much a tribute to Godzilla in its own right.
Yeah, there's like every single monster, almost, well, most of the monsters you could think of are in there. Plus, if you keep your ear out, you'll hear little Easter eggs or see little Easter eggs all throughout the movie.
The only person I missed in the movie, and I told Malcolm, is Mechagodzilla.
Yeah. Hey, that was one of the ones that was left out, but...
You know, if you're going to include all, like, the major players in Godzilla movies, you have to put Mechagodzilla in there. He's appeared in more Godzilla movies than any other monster that Godzilla fought.
5 times. And so, which
5 times?
5 times. 5 times. But yeah, you got Godzilla. You have Zilla, which is the American version of Godzilla. That's a fun
Which is Zilly.
He's very Zilly. You have Manila, which is Godzilla's son. You have Espiga, the giant spider. Manda, the serpent. You got the sea monster. Just known as sea monster. I'm pretty sure he has a name though, but Hedorah, the smog monsters in there. You've got Gigan and Ghidra, so you got pretty much all of them. You've also got Godzilla's
the Mantis.
Yep. You got Godzilla's pals, Mothra, Rodan, King Caesar, and I keep calling him Anzilla, but what is it? Angrius?
English. Now I got English stuck in my head. It's not Angulus, but close to Angulus.
Yes. The spiky backed armadillo dude. And they do use CG. They do like some nice CG to give some nice touches, like Angrius has like a sonic spin ball attack now, which actually really works. But the fight scenes are also really, really good too. Like you can do a lot with the Godzilla suit if you know what to do. As not only punches, you got the tail whip. He uses a lot of Aikido too.
There is one thing though that Godzilla does in a lot of his movies that they didn't do in this movie.
What's that?
The running drop kick.
Oh, the slide.
Where he runs and like slides for like 4 miles and his tail drags and he drops kicks somebody.
That was a fun spot. I think that was either Godzilla versus Megalon or Godzilla versus Gigan, where he's ripping that. No, it's Gigan. Well, Megalon, where what was the robot name? Oh God, Jet Jaguar. That's right. He's holding like one of them. He's like,
not to be confused with Ultraman.
Oh man, that's pretty much what it was. Let's not beat around the bush. But
I think Jaguar came up before Ultraman.
You think?
I think so. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I believe Jet Jaguar was first.
But the fight scenes I really did enjoy, especially they give like a unique fighting style. Like King Caesar really didn't have a fighting style for the longest time, but he's doing all these lucha moves or like soccer kicks and even like a fun little Godzilla trying to defend a goal, which I thought was a cute spot. The fights are all really, really interesting. When Ghidra first appears behind Godzilla, it's actually a really cool moment.
And I think if they didn't actually make him turn into Ghidra and had him as his own character, it was a badass look. It was destructive. It was great. I understand the way they went with it, but I mean, if they went with Ghidra first and then had him get hit by a ray or something like that and transform into that thing.
Yeah, for history's sake, you have to go with that as the final.
Well, history's sake, you should have just had him come as Ghidra.
Fair enough.
But I mean, by that time, he was actually not all bio anymore. He was actually turned into part robot in one of the Godzillas previous to this one. It was Mecha King Ghidra. So you can't go by this. I mean, you have to have Ghidra in it because he was one of the main bad guys of all time in Godzilla movies.
He's pretty much the Joker to Godzilla's Batman.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
What would Mecha Godzilla be?
Oh, Mecha Godzilla? What would that be?
Ra's al Ghul?
Well, he's more of a rival to Godzilla, really.
You can't really be a rival when your main objective is always the opposite of what Godzilla is doing. It's like saying Lex Luthor is like Superman's rival. No.
Yeah, well,
His arch enemy.
That's his arch enemy. But you know, Ghidra, they've gone 1-on-1. There's even a Mecha Ghidra. Not too many people know that.
I think I mentioned it just a second ago.
Yeah, well, I'm just mentioning it again. But anyway, the plot, besides Godzilla killing everything, also has ties in a lot very nicely too. Japan has this new defense force, which is now capable of going toe to toe with the Kaijin, and you shake your head, but it was actually pretty fun.
It was fun. No, it was. It was fun. I mean,
it's one thing for them to go over the sea monster. I mean,
right. You know, out of all of them, I think the sea monster definitely was the one they have them defeat. But they're going at them with like bazookas that look like Super Scope 6. And if you don't know what Super Scope 6 is, it's a Super Nintendo like bazooka thing. And you know, they're hitting this thing and there's no damage whatsoever. Then all of a sudden, like, their eyes dilate and they scream, and all of a sudden their weapons are upgraded.
I would say there was Power Ranger damage done to it, where you just see like explosion.
You know, but no, it's like there was no explanation. Like, how come their weapons became more powerful? Because they like focused.
I'm guessing because they're technically mutants. Is like a lot of M words used in this one, but they're a lot of they're mutants. So I'm guessing since the weapons are more powerful and they're more powerful, so they're powerful enough to.
That'd be weapon X's, considering they come from planet X.
Oh, spoilers! But anyway, so anyway, everything's going well and good, but monsters are attacking everywhere. By the way, another reason to watch this film, you get to see Japan's belief of what life in a New York City is like.
Oh my god.
And you thought we were racist, but but anyway, aliens from Planet X, Easter egg, called Zillions, come down and offer to save the Earth from the monsters.
The main bad guy's name is just X.
I love the radio interview. That was my favorite part.
Yeah, so anyways, he's still not explain why he calls himself X, and the radio guy's like, yeah, so anyways, yeah, all that stuff. So, back to this.
So, it turns out to be a ruse. They have the ability to control these monsters, with the exception of the one monster on Earth who doesn't have this M gene that allows him to take...
Which I think is weird, because in which Godzilla was it where Mothra and Godzilla went to Planet X to fight King Ghidra, and they actually took over Godzilla?
Well, it wasn't... Mothra wasn't in that one, believe it or not. It was just Rodan.
Oh, Rodan and Godzilla, sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
But that was Godzilla versus Monster Zero.
Which is also King Ghidra.
Yeah, which is King Ghidra. But, yeah, so now these group of rebels, I guess, which include Mike Hagar from the Final Fight video games. You think I'm joking, but go watch it. It's Mike freaking Hagar. If there was a spot where he did a pile driver, I swear to God. But anyway, he's in there and he's fighting the aliens. There's some actually really good martial arts fights throughout it, and if you
get motion sickness, easy be wheezy with this movie because it spins a lot, and some of the angles rotate a lot and stuff like that, and it can get motion sickness for those of you out there who have motion sickness issues when you're watching movies.
Fair enough. But yeah, they managed to keep it exciting even when Godzilla wasn't on the screen, which if they can keep doing that, I think the Godzilla series has a lot of it's going to make movies, but it'll be better.
I believe so too.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
So Final Wars, definitely get it. Gamera.
Oh, yeah. Gamera, if you want to get something just so your friends make fun of you of watching Godzilla, you want to give them something to go, you want to make fun of me for watching something, if I watch this crap, then you can make fun of me. I mean, that's why Gamera never had a Saturday morning cartoon. Like, Godzilla Creature Double Feature, Godzilla was always one of them, if not both, on Saturday mornings. And you never saw Gamera. There's a reason for that.
So, there's how we think Godzilla... Final Wars, go get it. It's like
Gamera.
Yeah, Final Wars I think is like $7 on Amazon, so go get it.
And you can get 3 Ghidra movies for $8. What's that tell you? Quality over quantity.
Well, folks, next week This is the end. My only friend, the end. Yes. The final show for Malcolm the Fat Kid.
Yep. But we're going to go out in style.
Indeed. We're going to do...
Not dress-wise, because we don't dress in style.
We don't have any style. But we are going to review each other's favorite movies. Fat Kid, what's yours?
I'm going to go with my favorite movie of all time, The Princess Bride. Malcolm, on the other hand, went with the movie choice of anybody from MTV Cribs. Malcolm, what is your pick?
I don't get that, but Scarface. I understand that. I don't know why it's it's considered like so gangster.
No, anybody, even people who weren't rappers had that. It's like, if you're gonna have one movie in your movie collection, it's gotta be Scarface.
Every urban store has like a Tony Montana shirt in it.
And not to be rude, not to be crude, I don't own Scarface, nor do I plan on picking it up anytime soon. It's not a bad movie. It's not, and I'll
it's one of
watch
those.
it.
Yeah, it's one of those you can't say it's a terrible movie.
But it's not one of those movies I'm gonna run out and buy because it's like,
It's not Scary Movie 5. I think I would agree.
It's a good movie on its own right, but it's not my type of movie. And I mean, it's like Al Pacino acting like he's all drugged out and on cocaine, which is basically Al Pacino nowadays. But he perfected it back in the day.
Well, but let's not give the review now. Maybe I can sway you with this next show.
Maybe.
Well, folks, our final episode is next week. We'll see you then.